Hi, welcome to part 4 of our training of the off-the-track thoroughbred. Today we're going to show you the first and second ride of my friend Doug here. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into that first ride. Okay, we are going to be having our first ride on Douglas here, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's going to be really all about an experience for him. Now, what you have to remember with an off the track, of course, he's had a rider on him, but right now in his mind, experiences have been a rider can possibly be getting on and just asking me to go, right? One that's maybe a little bit more anxiety driven. For example, what I have noticed is that I put the bit in to his mouth for the first time, and when putting the bit in, what we have here is we have a horse that's kind of holding and chomping onto the bit kind of the way he is right here. Tells us one of a couple things. Maybe there is some teeth issues that we need to go ahead and get checked out, which we will get checked out here very soon. 2, it could be anxiety driven from the bit, but you know, because this is sometimes what happens when you have horses that are on the track that get very bored with things, that play with the bit a lot, or it could be just a sheer fitting issue or whatnot, which at this point it seems like it fits him fine, but you know, definitely something we'll continue to check out. So what we're going to do here, though, is we've already done the groundwork to make sure that, you know, he's in a decent frame of mind at this point. But before we get on, we want to make sure that with the bit that he's pretty comfortable about just making sure he gets off of the pressure, which, you know, we've already done from with the halter perspective, that essentially if I can just slightly bring his head and neck around, that he's getting off of that pressure of the bridle there, which was great. I want to make sure he gets off the pressure of the bridle this way, which he's getting off of it wonderfully. And then it's really all about experience base here, okay? I'm just going to do a quick little asking him to back up. You can bring your head up, and he looks like we've drugged him here, evidently. I'm going to ask him just to give me a little backup from it. Good boy. Great. Okay. But when I talk about experience, what I want to make sure is that from the beginning, when I start asking him to stand still when I get on him, this is an experience that usually, and I don't know because I've not been on him. I don't know whether this is going to become a problem or not. But he has a potential of when I go to get on, him wanting to, you know, walk off when I get on, right? Most of the time, jockeys are just thrown up there while they're moving in a circle. So I don't really know what he's going to do with this, but I do want to make sure that the experience kind of helps to dictate, hey, I want you to sit still. And when I get on, it's going to be more, more relaxing, more than it's supposed to be something that I'm asking a lot from him. So I'm going to tell you right now what my goals are. My goals for my very first ride is to be able to get on here, make sure that he's comfortable and relaxed, and that I can start to be able to move him forward and go through my concept. Come here, buddy. Go through my concept of riding here, which is really important to start working on extension. I want to be able to get his movement extended out. The more extended I can get him to be, the more comfortable he'll be. His body will be better. Overall, he'll have longevity to his body, etc. So I'm going to try to work on extending his body out at a walk, maybe a little bit at a trot, but most of all, it's all about the experience. I really don't want to do a lot with him and make him do a lot. Not because I don't think he can't, but because I think it's important that my very first ride is experience-based, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a slight tip to his head when I go to get on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my foot in the stirrup here, make sure he's comfortable about that. I'm just going to pause and wait here, okay? Again, this isn't his first time having somebody on, okay? So I'm going to go to jump up a little bit. Great, he's doing good. I could use a mounting block here because he's bloody tall. Well, our first one here, I'll just pop on him here. Jump up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and commit. Excellent. Great. That's exactly how I wanted it to go. The biggest thing is I've already built a lot of a relationship with him at this point. So I do expect this to go really well, but you never really know what the history says about the difference between groundwork and riding, right? Because he could be a great little buddy of mine on the ground, but because of history, he could easily start to think that riding means something else, okay? So I'm pretty happy with that. He's a little distracted right this second. We're going to get moving into the walk here in a second. All right, I've gone ahead and let him sit here for a few minutes. Time to get moving. So to kind of get started moving, I'm going to just give very easy, subtle cues where I'm going to squeeze and I'm going to ask him with my energy to pick up into going forward. Good boy. Great. And what I'm going to do is basically kind of guide him where I want him to go, which right there was not on my list of where I wanted. He's going to try and walk back to the camera person. So I'm just going to try to guide him a little bit. You are drunk as a skunk. Good Lord. Let's try to get this a little bit better, shall we? How did you ever run around a track like this? Okay. So I generally don't just let them go and be on their own in the beginning. What I like to do is I like to give them a guidance, right? So I kind of look at it like this. This is a road in front of me. Now, the more green they are, what ends up happening is the road is much wider. The road is like, 10, 15 feet, so to speak. And the more refined I get, I'm now looking then at like a 3-foot road, if that makes sense. Okay? So right now, his road that I'm kind of guiding him along is quite wide. But we're working on just trying to make sure we have forward and understand that. Okay? And that's going to be key to kind of making this experience a good one. So right now, this forward is kind of relaxed, which is good to start with. But what it's going to do is it's going to create the whole locking up issues over there because he's just kind of so laid back, if you will. Okay? All right, so like I said, every time right here, I get a little stuck. Now, is this circle exactly where I want him to go? No, not necessarily. I just felt like that was probably the best option for him to give me forward and around here. So at this point, it's not too bad. So as he comes around here, he gets a little stuck. Just going to try to help keep him going forward. Now, I don't know a lot about him, so I don't want to start thumping on his side right this second. All I'm looking for is just trying to help him. So like I said, right now it's all about experience, right? So I want to make sure that even from day one, from the groundwork, it's all been about making sure that it's been a good experience for him, because that experience has created him to be able to come back to this nice relaxed state versus where he was before, okay? And so I'm pretty happy with this from that perspective, but I will be asking him for more later, just not on this very first ride. All right, so we've changed directions here. And I'm going to go ahead, after I get one circle here, I'm going to go ahead and start asking for more of a walk. And I'm already starting to, and I'm getting it, which is great. And again, my road is a little wide. That's better. Good boy. Good. So my warm-up always consists of 4 different parts. One is being able to just give the horse the ability to walk kind of at their speed, their direction, right? I just kind of guide them. Step 2 is I start working on engagement. An engagement, by the way, like he's not going to give me true engagement, but what I'm looking for is I kind of call it like a collected walk. Not necessarily am I looking for this horse to collect, but I am looking for this horse to work a little harder for them at that, that given moment, right? So what he knows, I just want him to make him work just a little bit harder. So I'm going to be asking for him to start to drive up. How I'm doing that? Using my seat, start to ask for more. Seat is first, feet are secondary. Still just guiding him along. That's better. The straighter I can keep him, the more I can kind of step him up, the better, more relaxed he's going to be. There's a saying I like to say called loose tension through extension. And so if I can get him to extend himself out, there should be no tension in his body. That's it. So I want to take a quick pause. We had some video issues that once we kind of took the video back into post, we lost some of the footage. So unfortunately, as it may seem like it skips around a little bit, I do apologize for that. So we are going to go ahead and show you the footage that we were able to keep and to salvage. Good boy. Okay. Good boy. Okay, so warm up step number 3 complete. Step number 4, engage trot. Collected trot, meaning ask him for more. See what we can get. Good. Good boy. Good. And I'm going to see how well he listens. My energy is going to come down. I'm going to start thinking WALK, slowing myself down. Great job. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, going this other way here. I'm gonna see he feels a little bit more off this other way. I mean, I say off, I mean like his body's a little wonky feeling. He's unbalanced. He even struggled there to keep into the trot, sorry. Just going to help him here. So here we're just going to give consistency in the gait. Let him kind of find his own feet, if you will. Try to make the circle just a hair bit bigger for me. Really unbalanced this way. So it gives us a lot to work on, a lot to think about. Good. Excellent. There we go. I just want him to relax. There we go. Good. Excellent job. Okay. So that's about it. That's about what a first ride I want it to look like. I want to just be able to assess, and I want to be able to see how he starts to take to me. And could I have asked for more from him? Absolutely I could. But here's the bottom line. When I talk about experience-based, it's all really important to me to make sure that the experience is what he takes away from it. All right, so that was a great first ride. I'm really happy with where he is. Again, experience-based is all I'm looking for. To me, that was a good first experience, and it's time to go back and give him the scratches he feels he deserves at this very moment, and be done. So there you saw the first ride, and we're going to go ahead and break quickly right into the second ride the next day. As you saw in the first one, it's all about experience, but so is the second ride. Second ride is about that experience-based type of ride. We want him to have a good experience more than we want anything else. So let's jump into the second ride. So we're on our second ride here, just getting started. Just got on first a little bit here at a walk. Remember the warm-up that we had yesterday for his first ride is what we're going to start with again today. And that warm-up essentially consists of him just kind of being himself, letting him walk and just kind of guide him around. Today what we're going to be focusing in a bit more on is really starting to narrow our road a little bit more, be able to pick up into a little bit more of a stretchy trot. stretchy walk as well, kind of just get him to be able to utilize his body a little bit more. The saying we like to say is lose tension through extension. And what that essentially equates to is trying to help the horse be able to elongate his body, because most times when horses are silly, not paying attention, etc., are all times when the horse is super compressed, right? In order for a horse to buck, they need to compress their body for that to happen. In order for them to bolt, the same thing, right? So essentially, what we want to try to help him with is elongating his body to the best of his ability. And you have to remember, what his ability is going to be today will be much less than what his ability will be, say, you know, in a month, right? So we just need to try and work with him and help him every single day. So I'm also going to be looking to work on our 4 main steps that we have to working on the body and the mind at the same time. And those 4 main steps are establishing forward, then helping what I call the barrel, okay, helping the rib cage learn to become straighter. And we'll get into more detail about what all this means, by the way. And then the next thing is teaching flexion, and then being able to teach shoulder control to really help work on true balance. And all of this is helping get to that true balance point, essentially. So that's kind of our direction that we're heading in. We won't be getting to all of that here today, but I am going to be looking to really start to change my road a bit more. He was comfortable on that circle. I'm going to be looking for a little bit more here today from him, and see kind of how we kind of manage along here. So to the right, I'm going to spend a significant amount of time on to try and help him learn how to stay a little bit more upright. If we remember even our first ride, he was really wanting to lean in quite a bit to the right, mainly at the trot than he was at the walk. But I want to start focusing in on helping him learn how to get that better, more upright. I want him to be upright and balanced all the time. So we're going to go ahead and get started on kind of step 2 of the warm-up, which is essentially being able to ask him to step up a little bit more and straighten his body out through forward, right? So we're going to be just asking for that more engaged walk, and I'm using engaged as just to kind of help make sense. Obviously it's not fully engaged, but I just want to try to get more impulsion from him. Start by driving the seat. I have both hands on my reins, working on him trying to stay straighter. I am not looking for him to really give any flexion, just want to keep him straight. Straightness is key here. Good. When it comes to horses, I love this saying, straightness is greatness, right? When I have bent like this, I have problems with the horse. If I have a horse that's giving too much flexion, I have probably a horse that's trying to drop the shoulder or drift the shoulder out. So when it comes to horses, I love that saying, straightness is greatness. So I'm trying to really focus in on driving that body forward. There we go. And this whole straighter being right here is much, much softer than to ride, and it's much more comfortable. And it's going to be softer on my hands too, because he likes to pull on the bridle a little bit. And this is a problem you're going to find with off the tracks as well, is they're going to, you got to remember, they're taught when they feel bridle pressure to actually pull against it. And so when they feel like it's that pressure, that's what they're supposed to do, well, we have to kind of teach them otherwise. So it's all about how we communicate, how we touch. So instead of really focusing in on trying to help that part just yet, I'm just going to be working on lateral motion. So when I kind of touch and ask him to come in the direction, I'm just doing a nice slight pressure and release type of hand gesture. Good. All right, so step number 2, I'm going to start meandering around the arena a bit more, and I'm going to be asking him to kind of trot while we meander. Okay? Good boy. I want to work a little on consistency here. So as he comes up to the top of the arena, he's a little distracted. And when he's getting a little distracted, he's dropping that shoulder to the inside. He was picking up a little bit of speed. So when I start trying to think about speed control, it's really important that my body stays rhythmic, stays that of a metronome, helps him find the pace and motion I want him to be in. So that consistency starts from within me, and that's really important that I help him find it. That's much better coming down here this time. Good boy. So as we're traveling, we're noticing these a little bit of inconsistencies, and we're also noticing kind of how he wants to dump his body to the inside a lot. And these things are going to be fixed with time. But right now we're just working on creating the ability to travel consistently. And in the very beginning, we just want him to work on himself and feel good about being in his own body. To the right, he's really cattywampus with his body. It's a very technical term, by the way, cattywampus. Really out of balance to the right. So here, going to the right, like I said, we're just trying to work on feeling that consistency because he just sped up again. And you notice how much more bend he wants to have almost. Like he's just kind of really not straight. He got a little bit spooked by the truck that just came by. We're just gonna ignore all of that. We gotta get him straighter to really help his body because his body's all a little janky. Using a lot of technical terms here today. I'm gonna start working on a little bit of that body here just to try to help him get better because he just feels really awful here. So I'm going to start trying to just help him get better through the barrel. And the barrel is where he's leaking out so many things. He really just doesn't want to stay straight. He wants to get all over the road with his rib cage essentially. And if I can straighten him up a little bit through the barrel, which I'm using my seat and my legs to try and do, I get a better trot out of him. There we go. Just straighten that barrel up. There we go. Straighten the barrel up. I don't want him to trot too long uncomfortably, so just going to kind of fast forward that way here. Good. Now you see me kind of using the reins a little bit. The reins are just trying to direct and guide him to help that barrel straighten up. There we go. The barrel was straighter for a minute. And the barrel only stayed straighter for not even 10 strides, but good. That's better. That's what I'm looking for. Good boy. Once he knows how to be comfortable in his own skin and his own body, everything will be easier. Okay, he's getting a little tired. I'm gonna listen to him here. So I was working on him straightening up. He said that was a lot of work. And this is where it really gets interesting. Because if you notice when he was trotting a minute ago without me kind of trying to work on him and just letting him be, he was going to trot, he's going to be able to trot for some time. He's had no problems keeping going. But the moment that I started trying to ask him to make sure that he delivered full amounts of power in his body, that's when he started getting a lot more tired. There's a lot more work for him. So I really like kind of seeing that because that means that essentially any of the trotting he was doing just a few minutes ago was that of incorrectness, right? We already knew that, but As soon as we started to correct him, get him straighter, all the power could be used in an efficient way, but at the same time, it does make him a little more tired. So this is a great start to this aspect. I'm really happy with it. And to me, like, that would be the start of our, or the end of our step 4, which is kind of collected. Oh, you're gonna, all right, take your time. It's like the cork popped out. So this to me is the end of step 4. Now we're gonna get to work just a little bit more on him and that body a little bit here, just to kind of help work on that barrel, okay? So we're just gonna start working on him, feeling the pressure of my legs and trying to straighten up. Now this, I'm not gonna lie, is probably not gonna be seen really, really well, what it is I'm trying to accomplish on camera, but just know what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to feel the rib cage, and the rib cage will either kind of bend to the inside, bend to the outside. When the horse gets kind of unbalanced, what we normally see is we go after what we see first, which is actually, we kind of see the shoulder maybe drift in or drop in or drift out type thing. And we go after and try and fix the shoulder. Well, the shoulder really isn't the issue. The shoulder is secondary to the barrel getting out of whack, okay? So like right now, the barrel is to my leg and the shoulder is starting to think about dropping. So it's my job to kind of have supportive leg and work on trying to set that barrel a little bit more upright for him there. And when he's straighter, he's going to be much better and have more ability for impulsion correctly when he's in this better position. And so you should have a nicer forward walk, not necessarily a runoff walk, but you should have a nicer forward walk and just kind of help him get to that, there we go, correct body position there. Good, okay. Okay. Good, so just playing around a little with that. I'm gonna go both ways. Really starting to feel that barrel. Now, I've kind of, I wouldn't say I cut the arena off, but I have cut the ends off a little bit. Over time, I start to expand, and I'll go ahead and let him, hit on the rail. But the reason I'm not choosing the rail right now for him is not because of anything more than the situation he's kind of created, is when he kind of gets to the rail, he gets a little distracted. I've noticed the closer he goes to the rail, he gets distracted about things that are on the outside. And my job right now is to not try and say, don't be distracted. My job is just to try and help him become comfortable and have great experiences, okay? So here I'm just working on feeling that barrel, but I am cutting off part of the rail for that very purpose. It's kind of like this. I don't like to deal with some of those issues right in the beginning. I actually like to try and just continue to have good experiences, because ultimately the distraction comes from him not paying attention to you and having not having the best of experiences of listening. So if I can teach those things now and avoid a fight in the future, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to beat around the bush there. Okay. Good. Good. All right. He's had a little bit of a break now. Now we're going to move on to trying to kind of see how the rest of him feels. So I'm not going to fully be able to fix the barrel here at the trot 100%, okay? Not on day 2. But what I am going to be able to do is I want to start to see what happens, how he feels the faster we go. So I'm going to start increasing the speed, but I'm going to do it slowly. I'm not going to ask him to go straight off into the canter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see how he feels the faster we go. If we go to that speed right before he canters and he's all over the road, it means that the canter is going to feel the same way. So I want to fix it first at a trot. It's just a safer way. There we go. There we go. Push up. Got a little all over the road there, didn't he? That's better. He's coming into it. for a racehorse, you got the wrong lead there, big boy. You know, he got a little bit nervous with his body. Settle him, let him settle, ask him. I don't know if you can trot any faster than that. You can commit. I'm okay with that. Thank you. That was poor commitment on your part. Keep going, buddy. You're good, buddy. Look at what he's doing with his head. This here with his head's telling me like he's waiting for contact. I'm not going to give it to him. Good Lord have mercy. That was a terrible downward transition. That downward transition was terrible, but kind of explains a couple of things for us. When he gets into that canter, he actually gets a little nervous. And his nerves, he's handling it well. He's not trying to take off with me. But he was waiting for me to kind of get into his face. He had that head thrown up in the air. He had a nice little rhythm there, but he really didn't know what to do when I threw him away like that. And of course, with time, I'm going to bring back contact. But right now, I want him to learn to just be able to be free and comfortable on his own. So for me, that very first canter was fine, but it told us a lot about our future and what we have to accomplish. So I'm not going to be here to canter him for 30 minutes on day 2. Again, it's all about experiences. And already just from the first ride to this ride, we have great improvement. But to be honest, he's going to have to really have some even better improvement come these next few rides. Good. It's also really important to me after a canter, come down to a walk or a stop. Generally, I like a walk better than a stop, just to reiterate the fact that I don't really want him to go 100 miles an hour. I want him to realize that when he's tired, he can just relax and come back to, or if he gets nervous, he can come back to this place of relaxation. So I'm pretty happy with that. Good. I want him to always feel comfortable at this place right here. So there you have it, ride number 2 complete. And obviously, as you saw, hi buddy. As you saw, the second ride we were able to get into the canter. Now we decided to not canter more than just that time that we did because it was again all about experience and he was anticipating things to not go his way, meaning you could kind of see him get really tight and tense through his body. So we need to show him that this is not something that he needs to be tense and nervous about. So we're going to put a few more rides on him, and then we're going to come right back here to part number 5 and episode number 5 to show you a few rides later. So make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time that we upload videos, and we'll see you on the next one.